Hi there, this is Tara. I am addressing the audio question for this week. As an English teacher, we use audio quite a bit. One of the main ways in which we use audio is by playing different texts if we are listening or reading in class. I have listened to 12 Angry Men, Romeo and Juliet, Macbeth, through Audible, other subscriptions as well, and I find that to be a pretty great way for students to engage with text. Obviously, the ideal way to engage with text is by having the students read it themselves, but certain days when it gets too difficult with the language or things like that, it's a nice break for them to be able to do Audible. So that's the first way that I use audio in class. I have always thought of and dreamed of creating podcasts for my research paper that explains some of the things like plagiarism or works cited pages and some of the things that some of the classmates did where they had themselves talking and then that screen cast. Following them is such a great way to do that. I actually tried to download some of those things, and one of the issues is that the computers we have here that are issued by school they basically get full the more that you download onto your computer, of course, like any other one. But I don't have too much on my computer, and it's too full to house something of that nature. So I'm actually thinking of getting a new computer for the sake of that. But anyway, I think that would be a great way to engage students with an audio connection to also what they're seeing visually. A lot of the time I create documents that are screenshots of things, but this is even more obviously engaging and something that they could work with on their own. I love the idea of responding to each other verbally like we did with Padlet. I use Padlet all the time, but I've never used the recording piece, so that's something that I'll look into in the future. I try to mimic college classes and my senior classes especially and have them create a response to each other like we do on Classroom, but I've never seen it done in a verbal way like that before, so I feel really good about that, and I think I'm going to access that next semester, or this semester, I'm sorry. I've also had a thought to listen to podcasts. Obviously, we as adults, a lot of us get into podcasts, and I listen to them in the car on the way to work, and there's been a couple of them that I've heard that I thought would be interesting for my students. I teach 10 Achieve, which is basically a struggling class, and there's a podcast that talks about students who struggle with school and why they struggle with school, and I think it brings a lot of perspective to the way that we are open and giving to our students here at Willowbrook, and that not all of the students in this podcast kind of have that same experience. And so for me, it's a great idea to use that as a podcast, and actually have been talking with another 10 teacher talking about how we can access that as well. Largely, though, we listen to text, and that's the way that I use it right now. But I think that with this class, hopefully I'll find some new ways to access audio use. And it looks like some of you guys are really amazing with what you guys can do in terms of technology. I always thought myself to be a technology guru, but I'm seeing some really great things already in this class that are making me want to learn more. So thanks for listening, and talk to everybody soon.